Recently, as you know, I've been on a little bit of a kick with using American tools for sewing. And I had already gone through this for well over 6 months regarding yarn and knitting. And in my opinion, there aren't enough American-made tools for knitting to have people knitting. I mean, not if you get as strict as like I did with the sewing needles, where I ordered handmade needles. When you come to knitting, there aren't American equivalents for the Boye knitting looms. This is one box for their bulky yarns, but I have all of them. And some of my patterns are already written as a possibility of doing them on a knitting loom. So I could make my own tools, my own looms, but the time involved and replacing the number of looms I have, there's a time when you're defeating your own purpose by being that strict. And I have to kind of pull myself back a little bit and use what I have for myself. My quest for American products and tools was really centered on quilts for veterans, which, I am thinking of ordering machine needles that are handmade in America. But when it comes to the knitting, I have vintage Boye needles that now their newer Boye things are made in China. I have the newer Boye needles. I have authentic knitting board looms that originally were made here in the United States are now made in China. So even if I slowly get everything American, I can't freak out about it and toss everything that's made in China. So this is a Boye knitting loom. It's got 24 pegs. This is a pair of ped height socks. You need 4 ounces of bulky weight yarn. It's so simple, it's probably anybody could figure it out themselves. But you cast on with 2 strands of yarn. 2 strands of worsted weight is what I did. Or you can use bulky weight yarn. You need 4 ounces total. So if you were using worsted weight, the 2 worsted strands together have to equal 4 ounces of bulky. 10 inches, just cast on E-wrap knit for 10 inches for a ped height, about 14 inches for an ankle height, and then 18 inches for a higher sock. Now I wear these, I have rain boots that are a little bit loose, but they're comfortable. So what I do is wear a normal pair of socks, and then I'll put a pair of these on in the boots, so it's just so much more comfortable. So that's the Boye 24 peg green loom that comes with the normal set of 4 looms by Boye. Now this is one of my teddy bears. I have to rewrite this particular pattern, but the arms on that one were made on a loom, and then other areas of it were made on knitting needles. So I can't drive myself crazy as far as getting rid of everything I own that's made in China, because in many cases there aren't substitutes. And frankly, I don't have the time right now to make all the tools myself. So Boye knitting looms I still have to use for different things. Authentic knitting board looms, I still have to use them for different things. I have hundreds of pairs of knitting needles that I can't just throw out the door right now simply because the company grew up and went to China. So I have to find a balance here. I will be hopefully finishing up my main teddy bear pattern tonight and then putting it in my Etsy store. But I just wanted to share that, these looms are economical, and you can't get around that sometimes. The expense of buying everything American is a lot. So maybe I'll do this over time and get to where all my tools are American. But right now I have to kind of restrict it to quilts for veterans things, or I'll go nuts. So there's a simple sock pattern that, when you get to the length that you want, you just cut a long tail of yarn and gather the toe. You don't decrease or knit together or anything. Just gather the toe. And you can see it gives you a square end, but they're comfortable. They're not uncomfortable at all. So it's your basic tube sock on a Boye knitting loom.